Friends, we have a really fun topic today. I've been so looking forward to this. By the way, usually Jaden and I like plan out like how each podcast is going to go. Today, we came up with this idea minutes before you're hearing the sound of my voice, and here's why. But as I'm about to tell you what that is and why I love what we're going to be talking about today, two quick things. First of all, guys, we do this because we love it. Like you see, we don't have tons of big outside sponsors, anything like that. With Jaden and I just like love talking AI with you. But one of the huge things is ratings and reviews, and we are really close to, I believe, 150. So what this does is it allows us to get better guests on. We've had some phenomenal guests from Mustafa Suleiman. I have a surprise guest that I'm going to be bringing on soon, who I'm super excited about. But some phenomenal people. It also just allows for more people to discover this. So again, we're not hitting you with a lot of commercials, but would love if you would be open to leaving a rating and review. Move us over that thing. It's the only thing we ask. We're not hitting you with commercials. That's that. Okay. What I want to talk about is Jaden threw out the word vibe coding today. And you know how usually you hear this stuff and it's always like, yeah, vibe code. Two quick things as I'm leading into this. So this is not name dropping. It's just in this world, we all kind of tend to know each other. So I was having dinner with our friend Logan Kilpatrick over in Chicago from Google, from DeepMind. And he was like, Connor, you got to be vibe coding. I'm like, what am I going to vibe code? I don't know. I don't really vibe code. He's like, no. And we texted Ali Miller, who's our other friend. And I was like, you got to vibe code. And then I had lunch with Ali yesterday in New York, and she's like, you're not vibe coding? And if you follow Ali, which you need to be, she has 1.5 million followers on LinkedIn alone, you see like all this coding that she puts out. She also has a phenomenal course and everything like that. But she showed me what she was building. I was like, oh my, like it looked like it took a team 6 months. And she's like, I built this in 10 hours. I could not believe it. And then this morning, guys, Jaden and I are about to jump on. Jaden's like, I was up till 3 a.m. vibe coding. I'm like, Jaden, turn on the mic. You're going to talk us through this. Tell us what was happening. Go on, Jaden.
Guys, I am not proud. Last time I stayed up till I spent all day yesterday vibe coding. And by the way, I don't just say this as like a buzzword because I hate it. People have been saying this for ages. I've done things before where I've created like UI for websites. Everything is completely changed, and I will explain why. You can build a full platform. The reason I'm so over the moon about this too, by the way, Connor, is because I have spent hundreds. I've spent over $500,000 on developers in the last number of years on different software projects that I'm working on, and I've raised money, I've spent money, like it takes a long time, it takes a lot of money, and I just built what I believe is worth like $100,000. Like a project that probably would have taken a really cracked team 3 to 6 months, $100,000 easily, and I just built the whole thing in one day. And I mean, all night. I spent all day long on it yesterday, and then I was laying in bed. I couldn't fall asleep. It was 1 a.m. I'm like, forget this. I got to keep finishing the project. I went back down to my computer until 3 a.m. I kept working on this. I'll explain what I built, and I'll explain why it's interesting and how this is different than where we were at a little while ago. But first, I have to kick us off with a tweet from Shurish over on X. He said, I swear vibe coding is a real addiction now. Bro, I know people who code 12 to 16 hours a day just building random things. Anyone else like this? Or just a few? Okay, apparently I am like this, guys. It is so addicting, especially when it's, yes, something you spent a lot of money on and you could just do it and it's like magical. Okay, what I used was Lovable. Now, I am not a coder. I am not a developer. I have zero experience. I have edited the most basic versions of HTML when I was like, making a WordPress website, and I like put the header tags on or something. Like, yeah. I literally don't know what I'm doing in any regard to coding. I have worked with developers for like years. So I understand like sort of how things sort of have to go together. Never looked at the code though. So I use Lovable because of that. And if you're not a coder, this is what I would highly recommend. If you are a developer, you're going to be using Claude Code. You're going to be doing things completely different. But I am going to make an argument, even for people that are great developers, of why Lovable is so amazing, and other tools like it. There's Base 44, I think. There's a whole bunch of these other vibe coding platforms. Even my own startup, which is AIbox.ai. It's basically a vibe coder, but just for building individual tools. So you can describe a tool and it will vibe code it out for you, chain different AI models together. So the thing that I love about Lovable, they have added a couple new features. In the past, I used it basically to create code for me for front end pages. So I'd be like, it's like I want to redesign the homepage, the marketplace on AIbox, do it like this, and I would talk to it, and I'd spend a couple days and I'd make a beautiful homepage. Then I would get the code from that, give it over to my CTO, and he would go and like make the website. He'd like tie it in and make it work. We have a big project, so I just designed the page and he would go make it work. That's what I've done in the past. This is completely different. What I was able to do over the last however many hours, because I 4 hours of sleep, but beyond that, was essentially Go and Lovable has now added login authentication, AI models. So that means that like you can make a tool that you can go and actually make a username and password to log in. Databases, they use Supabase and they actually create the database for you. They create payments with Stripe. They can do all the payment processing. They can do AI integration. So like OpenAI, like I'll say, okay, on this tool I'm building, create an AI that can automatically fill out XYZ for the user, and they will have the AI integrations. You don't need to go get API keys. You don't even have to go pay for anything. It's all run through Lovable Cloud. They also have the ability for you to go buy a custom domain name. So it's not just like, whatever your random URL is .lovable.dev. It's literally like go buy your, the AI mindset course.com, and your tool will appear on that website for you. So Lovable, I think, has went above and beyond. I know they just spent the whole Christmas season, all their developers, I saw them tweeting about making a bunch of changes to the platform to make the designs better and everything work better. And I was like, yeah, we all say that. Okay, I tried it, guys. It freaking works. Connor, I'll take a breath for air. Ask me any questions, and I want to tell you what I built.
Dying to see this. Okay, so Jaeden, you've been in this mindset before. One of the problems when people haven't vibe coded, they're like, I don't even know what to vibe code. So what I do all day long with big companies and stuff like this, people are always like, I don't know how to use AI. I don't know what to use it for. So we take them through this whole AI mindset process, right? And now I'm finding myself in that same seat with vibe coding. People are like, you got to vibe code. I'm like, but vibe code what? So Jaeden, let's take this down to absolute first principles for people like, what am I going to vibe code for? Because I believe you that Lovable will get on there. It's going to be very user friendly. I think one of the big things that people have, or at least I have a hard time with, is I'm like, what am I going to vibe code? Like, what do I need? So you've been living in this world for a few years now, and only now have you sort of like decided you're going to do it. Can you describe what the shift in sort of like mindset was for you, first of all, where you're like, well, now I'm going to actually try to build this from like, I didn't really know what to build before or something? Because you guys build a ton over at AI Box.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally a tool for building tools. Okay, so basically the reason why I built this thing that I built is because like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I paid a guy on Upwork $1,500 to hack together a very ghetto tool to help me with podcast publishing. I have like a lot of podcasts. I have the same process where I go to ChatGPT and help it come up with the title and help it come up with the description, and I copy and paste links in. And like, there's just this process. I have like 4 virtual assistants that I hire, and I will be reassigning them to new tasks because when basically this thing I built in the last 24 hours is doing everything that they do like full time. So it's insane. So they'll get some new jobs. The company will have new projects I'm excited about, but they had very menial tasks where they just had to upload podcasts. It was very repetitive. It was copy, paste, download the same thing every single day. I honestly felt bad for them. So I built a platform that was very hacked together a year and a half ago. I spent $15 on Upwork. It was like I found like a budget guy. He was in another country. It took him many months to do this project. There was terrible communication. And the platform, like about a month after he built it, it broke because there's some UI change and he couldn't update it, and it was scraped together, and I didn't even have an API, whatever. Okay, so that's how I got started. I had a real need to help me with this podcast network publishing tool. I've literally paid someone to build it in the past. I went the cheap route. It broke. If you want to make this serious, it costs $100,000. It takes months. It takes a good team, but you can get it done. Okay, well, I just did it in 24 hours. The reason that this all happened is because I got an API key to my publishing platform for my podcast, which I never had in the past. That was the reason why my other platform was useless. And I was like, oh, cool. Now we can go pay someone to go build this for me again. I was about to go to, first of all, I contacted my CTO and was like, hey, dude, can you get on a call? I have like some coding questions. I was going to get some direction from him. And he was like, oh, shoot, I have like an important appointment right now. Can you just shoot me a text? And I was like, it's fine. So I was like, okay, I should go to Upwork and like make a job description. I'm like, it takes so long to do a job description. I'm like, what could Lovable do? So here's the secret for anyone interested in building a tool. For Connor, who maybe is interested in building a tool where he writes a LinkedIn post and it can go and help him format it and rewrite it and then generate an actual image and graphic that looks amazing like the ones you currently have. Let's say that's your tool that you want to build, and I don't know what other steps of your process are in there. But it's a lot more than whatever like a project on a GPT or Claude project can do. So maybe that's your tool. What I did is I went over to ChatGPT and I said, I have a product or a project that I would like to build. I'll give you all the specifications, and I want you to write me an elaborate outline of the tools the infrastructure, the code, the however we're gonna build this tool. I want you to write me an elaborate outline. That's how I started. I gave all the product specifications of what I wanted to build, this very complex platform, and it wrote out this huge multi-page document that I gave to Lovable. Now, what I'll actually say is you don't have to do that process. That might be more useful if you're going to use like Claude Code or something like that. Lovable actually, after I started using it, realized that it has an even better tool, which is there's like a chat bubble at the bottom of Lovable that if you click this chat bubble, you
Mhm.
can talk with it before it gets started actually building stuff for you. So I would click the chat bubble. This is a new feature since the last time I was using it. And I would basically have just copy and pasted my original prompt to ChatGPT in there and it will outline it. Because the cool thing about Lovable is it knows basically like ChatGPT recommended solutions for like backends and login and all this kind of stuff. But Lovable has its own built-in solutions that it integrates with, and they're amazing, flawless, smooth butter. You don't get a lot of options, right? Like you don't get to shop around for your best login platform. But personally, I could give a crap about what login software I
Sure.
use. Just make it simple, and I never want to think about it.
Mhm.
So you do that same process though, and this is really, 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 really important. So never just say build this thing and give it spit it out. If you're gonna just if you want it to do it well, give it all the specifications of what you want to build and say make a plan for how I accomplish this. It's
Oh,
gonna make a
interesting.
6-step plan, multi bullet points on every step, and then you say start with step one. It will go build step one, and then you say now continue to step two, and it will just
Yeah. I love
systematically
that.
go through the steps. That way it doesn't get lost. If you just give it
Right,
a big
right.
prompt and have it like build a
Yep.
platform, that was my problem in the past. I was never able to get beyond just like single page projects, basically, where it can make
Yep.
one page. This current project I've made has like 10 pages and all of them work together and all of them are amazing. And basically, I can import hundreds of different podcasts from different podcast networks I have. I can go publish episodes, have AI fill out the titles and descriptions. I can publish one episode to multiple podcasts. So sometimes I have like
Oh
sub
my gosh.
podcasts, and it can do like multi
And this will
publishing.
allow you to this will publish it for you or if
Yes. Yeah.
or
So the tool I built, I mean, this isn't super relevant to anybody, but I'll just explain the tool I built in
yeah.
case it's interesting. I have a page where I can go and upload an audio file,
Okay.
and ChatGPT will generate a title and description. And then
Mhm.
there's a quick snippet. So that means that it just copy and pastes like the show notes, basically, like any
Mhm.
links, sponsored links, anything like that, that I have to copy and paste onto every show. I just have a little button now that will do that for me. I can schedule it. And then I have like, so in particular with my podcast strategy that I have is I
Mhm.
have my main show, AI Chat, and then I have
Right.
like 10 sub shows. So I'll have like AI marketing, AI finance, AI business. And if I have a show that's like specifically about marketing, it's going to go on my main show, but then it also will go on the marketing sub show. Or if I have one about like fundraising, it will go on like AI fundraising.
Right.
So I kind of have like subcategories. And some people only like to listen to the marketing ones and only maybe like to listen to the fundraising ones or the finance ones. And so they'll just listen to like the AI finance show. And so that just makes sure they get the right episodes. It was a huge pain because in the past, I would have to like make an episode, tell my virtual assistant, okay, this episode applies for like these 4 shows, go repost it to these 4 shows, make sure to change the title and description using AI so it's different on every one. So like,
Oh.
I don't know, there's not like 4 shows that pop up on the same platform with all the same name, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. This platform does all of that for me automatically in a couple clicks. It's so amazing. Okay, wait. And then I pushed it one step further because that was like really complex and really cool that it could do that for me. It also does a really cool thing that so this is a feature that Spotify used to do on Spotify for creators, and they sunsetted this feature. It doesn't exist. Everyone complained about it, but it was this really nice feature where you didn't have to record your intro and outro on your podcast every time. All you just you basically would have the file saved on Spotify for creators. You just record a podcast like normal, and there was like 2 buttons to click, and it would add your intro and add your outro at the end. It just saved you a lot of time. It was just
Yep.
nice. They
Yep.
got rid of the feature, and so now you have to manually edit, whether that's in an audio editor or a video editor. You have to go manually edit your podcast together before you publish it, which is just more friction. I literally created a feature in here where every podcast that's in there, I have a custom audio file for the intro and outro tagged. So when I publish an episode from AI Chat, it automatically puts my intro and outro. I'll get us set up on here eventually. I'm gonna make honestly, you guys probably have noticed that Connor and I don't have a sexy jingle for this podcast, and that's because it's just so much work to edit that together for every episode. I haven't done it. When you start hearing our sexy jingles in the future, you'll know that AI Applied is on my platform and automatically can add that
Oh, it's
sweet,
amazing.
sweet jingle at the
Uh,
beginning.
Jade, it's so guys, I'm just like kind of like watching this. Here's the biggest thing, Right, and it's the question of all people using AI need to answer, which is, what am I going to use this for? The biggest hurdle, Jaden, as we know, is not whether AI can do something. It's only limited by you, right? Like, sort of like, well, what do you need this to do? The fact that you crack this code on just figuring this out, and then what it sounds like is you're like, wow, if I can do this, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. That's the exciting thing. So it's not like, well, what can vibe coding do? I find myself stuck in that trap, which is what I help hundreds of thousands of people try to get out of, and yet I'm finding myself still stuck in that same molasses. So, Jaden, I am pledging to start thinking, what do I need to do? And then just getting on Lovable or Cloud Code, but one or the other, and just trying this thing out. You have inspired me. Super excited about this. Guys, check out AIbox.ai, Jaden's company, where you can start sort of like at least testing these things out in theory. Like, what does it feel like to build your own workflows? My favorite thing about AIbox.ai, it's 19 bucks a month, and I spend literally probably $400 a month on LLMs. And with this $19 a month, you get to actually compare Claude with Gemini, with ChatGPT, with everything else. It's an absolutely phenomenal feature. Check it out, AIbox. Jaden, thank you for walking us through that. I was so excited to do this. Thanks for being a good sport and just like without any prep, just jumping on that. Guys, also, listen, sorry, I know it's the end of the show. We are at 141 reviews and ratings and reviews. We are trying to get to 150. If you are one of the 9, we are asking if you could do that today. It would be such a gift. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.